Hope you're ready for this.
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 83rd episode of the Nexus Trolls podcast. I am your host and moderator, GOONHOTS, and with me, as always, I have these other two goons, these other two trolls, these bums, these neckbeards, Soken and Aurumis. What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
I actually shaved my neckbeard this morning, so.
But it's coming back in. I see.
I'm here in spirit, though. I'm here in spirit.
How's your guys this week been? What you guys been doing?
You can go, Armis.
Just playing more Yreally. Took an exam this week. It's always a fun time doing that. Planning a little trip to the beach for the weekend, possibly. We'll see.
Ooh, beach bod, ready to go.
I'm always ready. Pasty and skinny, ready to go.
My week's been a little busy with work, so haven't had time to stream my challenge, but I have played a lot of games for that. Overall, just trying to find time to play HOTS this week. But I've been watching the mid-season brawl, so having fun with that.
Nice. You guys keeping up with E3 at all, by the way?
Yeah, mostly through like Twitter.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of good stuff coming.
I watched some of the announcements, but oh my god, man, some of it was just Yrelsident Sleeper, dude. I was just like,
dude, you gotta watch.
This is the only announcement for the year. Just like, go big, like do something, man. I don't know.
You gotta watch the E3 announcements with the Dr. Disrespect. It is hilarious. Just how you go. Anyways,
I was watching some of that, yeah.
Whatever. That is not Heroes of the Storm. That is not Nexus stuff, right? Whatever. Anyways. No, yeah, I've been working. My body's finally getting adjusted to the work and the schedule that I have currently. But yeah, I got to stream today. Streamed a little bit earlier today. A bunch of URL games, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be talking about Here's the Storm with you bums again every week. Anyway, so real quick, just gonna plug the patreon.com/trollsgg. If you enjoyed the show, you enjoy the content, make sure you guys go out there and support the show. Help us be able to keep our episodes long, keep the server hosting costs, pretty chill. Anyways, and yeah, and for our troll of the week this week, troll of the week is Ghost Bear. He's in the Discord channels, chatting away, talking about his builds, his strategies, his Bronze League strategies. But he's always thinking about the game. I'm just messing. He's always thinking about the game, dropping some insight, sharing with others. And thanks for all that you do to get people riled up about why Yrel is S tier. Appreciate you, homie. Appreciate you. With that being said, let's move right into the news.
Someday, this will make a great story.
First thing on the list. Bush League. Playoffs are complete. Finals are next week on Monday. And guys, please don't ban Diablo. Beat out FTBRG. Bacon's not playing anymore, so they can't win. No,
FTBRG was my favorite team just for the name.
Yeah,
that was it. So I'm sad, but
but it is gonna be a clash. It's gonna be Kane and Abel, two brothers battling it out. Fringe Average, his team versus Tower Baron's team. In the finals, I think it's gonna be pretty good. Two feeder teams going at it, best of three. Best of 3. Yeah, best of 3. And in case you guys were wondering, which I know you guys are. I know you guys are wondering. But Soken and myself will be casting the finals. And we might have a special guest. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I got to make sure that the contracts go through and all the all the payments that we need to do go through.
All the donations.
All the donations. All the high level donations from the governments, all the world governments go through, and we'll figure something. We'll see. We'll keep you guys posted. But anyways, the finals are going to be the 18th of June. That is Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Be there on my Twitch channel, GOONHOTS. All right, and you can see that information at bushleague.trolls.gg. If you guys are curious, you can check out all the player stats there, all the team stats, where they're from, all their cute little profile pictures, and yeah, all that stuff. But anyways, enough of Bush League. Enough of Bush League for now. Let's move on to our next topic here. Blizzard made this blog post talking about account suspensions and bans for toxicity for multiple abusive chat reports. The link is in the show notes. You guys can go check it out and read the entire blog post. But pretty much they were saying that instead of just like silencing people for longer and longer periods of time, they'll just outright suspend you. And then if you come back and you're still a toxic piece of trash, they're just going to ban that account outright. So that means Aurumis, get your Smurfs leveled up, baby, because you're gonna need it.
Been muted one time, and I don't even remember what I did.
I've never been muted, by the way. I've never been silenced, and I used to be. I mean, I used to be toxic. Or some would say I'm still toxic, but I don't know. But yeah, they talk about permanent bans, which I think is kind of like, it's like, whoa, this is next level for Blizzard. This is
the way to go. No, this is absolutely the way to go. I mean, even now, you can see it in in Masters. There's a bunch of on streams and stuff. There's a bunch of toxic people that always gets suspended, and then they gotta wait, and they're silenced or whatever. But then they just go on their alt, and then they come back X days later. Even if they're doubling that suspension, which is what they would do, they would double the silence time every time. But even then, they still come back.
Yeah.
So really, this is the only way to do it, which is you only get a certain amount of times, man, and then you're just done. You're just gone. I like that a lot. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're gonna do to combat like people with 20 Smurfs too.
I mean, after a while, once they're banned,
you can get IP banned. You can get IP banned.
Can you?
Yeah, you can for sure.
The issue is a lot of the people that do that are also college kids. They're playing like on campus. And can't IP ban that?
Yeah, I guess so.
So after a while, like, you're gonna get tired of leveling Smurfs. Like, that takes a lot of time and energy.
Yeah,
if you're doing
that's the hope, right?
Yeah, if you're doing it the right way, the honest.
If you're doing it the right way. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was supposed to say.
Do people really do that though? Do they put it like even in this system? You think they're going to put that much time into leveling Smurfs themselves and/or buying accounts, right?
I mean, if they're going through all the effort of still being toxic after all this time, consider maybe, but
yeah,
interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah,
people are wild. People are wild. You know,
dude, I barely got enough time to play the game, let alone like be toxic, get my account banned, and then come back with a different account.
Yeah,
level it up. I got no time for that.
Yeah. They also mentioned that they talk about how they ensure, or they say that false reports are ignored, and the way they look at it is like if you get reported for abusive chat, but for that game or whatever, but you didn't partake in the chat, whether voice chat or text chat, then it's automatically thrown out the window. Over time, they'll see like what you've said, maybe, and hey, if you didn't say anything bad, then it doesn't matter. They did also mention that there's machine learning involved with they implement some new machine learning technology that is supposed to like weed out a lot of the work that is involved. My dog is scratching himself and his like collar's like jingling. They're supposed to weed out a lot of the work involved with going through those reports. So I'm curious to see how that looks and how that works. We know what Blizzard's machine learning capabilities or technology is capable of. It's capable of, you know, minus 100 points player performance based matchmaking. And
That's all we know so far from, you know, historically type of thing.
Yeah. But anyways, so they're implementing that over the course of the next few days. Like, they've already started, right? Like, it's going. But again, the link will be in the show notes. Check it out, listen or read it. They talk about it a little in depth here. I'm very curious to see how that works. And this is just for abusive chat. This isn't taking into consideration like intentionally feeding or AFK.
Or dirty bug abusers.
Feels bad.
At Domovarian from our Yreally game today.
Damn, calling him out.
Yeah, that was bad. You pick Shattered Throw on Varian when Phoenix is the only shield and one-shot him 3 times in a game. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. I mean...
Still won the game, though.
The bug is still in the game, and we've known about it.
Still in the game,
so,
and it's been said. So hopefully they fix it.
Yeah, they fixed that Ragnaros one real quick. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that one was bad.
That was game breaking. That was game breaking.
For those of you that, to provide some context, for those of you that don't know, the Ragnaros bug was on Towers of Doom. You take Lava Wave. The Lava Wave would push all the way to the lane, and then hit the gate at the in the death zone, and just stay there and kill all the minions. And then over time, you can have 3 lava waves pushing.
And they can't leave their base.
Yeah, they can't leave their base because all that damage just stack. They would just die. They would have to wait for the. They would have to wait for the tunnel. I activated my tunnel too.
12 minutes into the game, they have to get to 12 minutes.
Yeah, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on here. Twitch drops have actually that went live a couple days ago, but Blizzard didn't release an article until today, a little blog post about it until today.
Yeah, it went live yesterday, I'm pretty sure.
It went live on the 12th.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, on the 12th it went live.
Whoa.
So for those of you that don't know what Twitch drops are, if you're watching a stream for a certain game and they have drops enabled, if you're watching a streamer that's playing a certain game, you have a chance to earn rewards. And here's the Storm's case: it is a chance to earn loot boxes, the loot chest. You can
every hero.
Yeah, and you can unlock heroes, portraits, whatever. From what it sounds like in the blog post, it's only a limited time event thing. It's not gonna be staying around forever.
No, for sure. You can't be just giving away thousands of loot boxes.
I think over time you can like lower the drop rate, right? But
it's an event-based thing. So they're doing this one for the mid-season brawl, and then if you watch like a certain amount of hours before July 9th, you'll get a rare loot chest. And then you can get the Echoes of Alterac portrait if you watch. I think it's 6 hours between now and July 9th of anything on the main channel. You get the Echoes of Alterac portrait, and then from now until July 12th, there's just a bunch of loot boxes that'll be random dropped, and then for
you can
mid-season brawl, there's the special event.
Yeah, and you can, and that's it. The random little loot drops that aren't tied to the events are if you're watching your favorite streamer, GOONHOTS, by the way.
Yeah,
of course.
But I'm kind of like, come on, man, make it a longer period, and maybe over time adjust the drop rates. Because if you want to get people to come play the game and like see what's going on and watch streams and stuff, I think this is a good incentive. It could
also just be a test to see how it works, because like obviously anything like that, you're kind of giving money out, probably costs something to do. They probably want to see the response from it, and like if it's good, they'll probably keep it going. Because I know they usually do a lot of them for like CS:GO tournaments and stuff like that, and that's why a lot of people do AFK watch CS:GO tournaments, because they'll drop all of like the most recent loot chests and stuff like that that you can sell in the marketplace.
Yeah, they did it. StarCraft did it recently.
Yeah,
I got dropped some StarCraft. During that time, that was pretty nice. I got where did I get? I
You
think
get
I
like
got some kind of skin or something.
some overlays and like a portrait or something.
Oh yeah, I got the overlays and stuff, but I got skins too. I think
Nice.
it's pretty nice.
Yeah. And if you're using the Twitch on browser, you get like a little notification in the top corner, and it'll tell you when you get a loot. You've earned a loot box. You go to the BattleNet launcher, and you'll see like a little present box up in the corner. And you click that little dot, and it says claim your reward. And you boot up the game. Bam, it's in there. It's in there. I got a Nubarak, Karazim, and Kerrigan in boxes, aka a bunch of shards that I could use for this event coming up. Where was this at during Nexomania, man? I needed it.
Wait, how you got that from drops from just this event?
Yeah.
You got those 3 heroes from this event
from the loot boxes. Yep.
What the hell? I've never gotten a hero in a loot box ever.
Really?
Bless RNG feels bad, man.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I got a couple loot boxes already, and then I got the 2 portraits so far already, the 2 Alterac portraits.
Yeah, I got the portraits and the rare loot box already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what's going on. Make sure you guys. Oh, you have to make sure you link your Twitch account with your Battle.net account. That's the only way this is going to work. They're not going to magically just, oh, hey, here's a loot box because we whatever. But and they're obviously doing this because Alterac, the Echoes of Alterac event. You're getting a bunch of people that play WoW coming to play HOTS. Because Yrell's in there, the map's there, and then the new expansion, and they're all waiting for the new expansion. I don't know if they're like they're getting ready for the new expansion, or if they're kind of like in a lull. I don't know much about WoW. I don't play WoW. I don't know what the meta is there. I don't know if you.
I think it's in beta right now or something.
Yeah, it's in beta. I know it comes out in August, but like I don't know if you grind up, all the way up until it comes out, and then you play, or if you just take a break and then you come back. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't either.
All right, cool. Well. That is pretty much it for the news. It's been a slower week, but yeah, let's go ahead and troll the Nexus.
We're gonna have a good time.
All right, so in the Nexus, the biggest thing that's come out is Yreally has now been released. Yreally, right? It's not Yrel or it's Yreally, right? I'm not making
people say Yrel. I don't know if that's right or not.
Okay, all right. Well, and she came out with a couple buffs. Auto attack damage increase and Q damage increase, if I'm not mistaken. And that was it. That was all they touched. And they let her out into the wild. They let her out into your Yreally, quick match, unranked draft games. And she's sitting right now at like a sub 40% win rate. I think it's like 38 or 39 or something like that. According to Hotslog.
It's one of the worst since like Medivh. It's not good.
So is she bad? I'm just gonna come out and just add. Okay, I don't want to say is she bad. I don't want to say that. What do you guys think about Yreally? Have you guys been able to play her a whole lot? Have you guys played it like with her on your teams? Like based off of what she does and how she's been performing this week, and it's only been a few days. What do you guys think?
You can go
first. All right. So
you played with her in like Hero League settings, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I've had her in my Hero League game. Think like twice today actually. She lost both times. Both on the other team. Lucky me. Yeah, she's sitting at a sub 40% win rate in Hero League right now, according to Hotslog. She's at a little under 30%, which is unfortunate, or 37% right now, which is pretty bad. It's the worst. I think it's like the worst hero by win rate that's come out. I think Yreally has a lot of potential. I know a lot of people have been talking about like just getting her ults changed, just because they're pretty useless right now, which is unfortunate. Like the shield is okay.
Yeah, I like the shield the most.
Yeah, the shield's definitely the better one, but it just doesn't really give her enough. Her talents, like, don't provide her enough to make her feel impactful. Like, a lot of heroes, like, they scale really well as the game goes on. Yreally just doesn't feel like she scales because She doesn't really have any talent where you're like, oh, when I pick this, like, the game is going to change. I'm going to start winning. It's just
Right.
like, oh, like, I picked whatever ability or whatever talent, and I essentially feel the same as I did before. I think she does have a place in the game. The way I've heard her described is she's like the Murky of tanks. She's just really hard to kill, really annoying. Doesn't really do much. You could kind of just ignore her.
Oh,
I would like to see them like buff her damage numbers a bit, or
Yeah.
give her like a temporary invulnerability when she starts her channel. Because like the problem is like when she starts it, it's so obvious that she's channeling, and it's just instantly interrupted. And the channels aren't like short, so maybe if they just said like, okay, you have like a half second where you can channel before they can interrupt that. So kind of like what they do with like abilities like Thrall's Earthquake, where you can't interrupt it when it's casted. Obviously, you don't want to not interrupt Yrell's charges, because that's the whole point of having her charge abilities, that there is some counterplay to her. Like maybe just give her a short time, so at least you know she can get some value out of her abilities when they're used, rather than say, okay, she uses them and they get interrupted nearly every time and she's not getting any value. I think she's a good support tank. Like, I still think that people need to find the place for her to fit. Kind of like when Diablo like got reworked, there was a lot lower win rate, and now he's getting back up there. I don't think he's above 50% in Hero League yet, but he's moving up.
Wait, no way, dude.
Yeah, no, he's at like he's at 47 according to Hot Logs right now. He hasn't moved
Dude,
back
he's
yet.
good. I don't know. The Diablo, back just real quick on Diablo. I've seen lots of Diablo plays on streams, so I know for a fact that he's not bad. Like, there's
He's
no
definitely
way.
not bad. He's moving up. He's definitely still a top tier tank, but like people are still finding their place with him, especially at like lower ranks. And I think that's the case with Yrel. Is just finding what to draft with her. And like I still stand by what I said when she came out, that you really need to just draft some like squishier assassin and just have her harass and be annoying in the back and create space for like a Vala or somebody like that who could just really deal a bunch of damage quickly. I think Yrel is bad right now overall. Like, very, very niche role. Like, definitely not great. But I think there's room to buff her to, like, a point where she can be useful. It's just, I think they need to relook at her talents a little bit, relook at some of her base stats. And then, like I said, I think a temporary, like a half-second vulnerability on her cooldown so she can at least use them in every situation. At least be able to click her buttons.
So, Matt Villers, one of the, he's on the design team for Heroes of the Storm. I don't know if he designed Yrel specifically or not, but he was saying that people just don't know how to play with her yet, and that you don't have to charge up your abilities. Like, people, you need to like a good Yrel knows when an ability is coming, can stop that ability from landing on somebody, can do a quick channel on something. Like, I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, the value that you get when you have a fully charged ability compared to that of when you don't have a fully it's like, for example, her Q, if you don't charge it all the way at level 1, heals for like 111 or something. If you, at level 1, if you charge it up all the way and you hit heroes, you're healing for 333.
Yeah.
Per like
it's a big difference.
Whoa, you know, like maybe boost up the initial, like the
initial numbers.
Yeah, the initial numbers on the pre-complete charge or something. And the same with her stun. Her stun does nothing. You knock people away. It's like a Stukov flailing swipe. Deals minor damage, but if you really want to get that value, you got to charge it up, hit them, stun them, deal more damage as well. You can use her trait and have an instant cast on something. But I find that I only use that in scenarios where like I hold it a lot for like, I need this now. I need to use this now.
Yeah, but I think that's how you're supposed to play her, though. I think that's what they want.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to be able to be in there, be disrupting, and then you use the trait for whatever you need the most at that time. So it could be an escape, it could be a heal, or whatever you need.
And that's another thing. Like, her E as an escape, it's nowhere near as good as like a Meridian's Dwarf Toss. It's slow, it's super telegraphed, and you just get knocked out of the air. I do not like the fact that you have to charge up her E in order to get range. Like, the only thing her charging up her E does is just increase the range at which you're jumping. What? Like, at least if I charge it up, like, I should be able to jump max range all the time. At least, like, give me something where, like, if I charge it up, maybe I stun on impact as well. Or
I don't know. That seems a little too much. Man,
or maybe
that
increase increase the slow on it, or the damage.
No, I think what you guys said already fixes a majority of the issues, which is maybe not necessarily giving her invulnerability to being stunned mid-charge, but at least buff the bottom numbers. I think the lower level numbers of the charge, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the temporary invulnerability just keeps, like, my thing is if you do that for a half second, it keeps her playstyle the same. It's basically saying you charge up for a very small amount of time where you can't be stunned, which essentially is just raising the numbers, which still allows her to, like, charge up for that time rather than saying, like, hey, you can use it right away and then begin attacking again. Because, like,
Yeah,
the whole thing is they want her playstyle to be...
Though.
Yeah.
That's like, no, but that's like the Valera thing. It's like, oh, she's stealth and I can't attack her for 2 seconds or, you know, whatever seconds into the stealth, and then you end up hitting them, but then they're not revealed, so it feels bad. Like, I don't know, that kind of thing has always kind of bugged me.
Well, I mean, you'll still be able to do damage to her. It's just you can't, like if you stun her, it's just not going to. Yeah, it's just not going to stop the channel.
I mean, then that renders. She's got a level 20 talent that makes her. She's got a self cleanse that she can use while she's channeling. It's every 10 seconds, and you're unstoppable for 2 seconds.
Well, waiting till level 20 though. Like,
yeah.
Put that at like put that at like level 7 where she can actually get use out of it. Like level 20, half the
level
have lost the game by then.
Yeah. I was also thinking maybe reduce the amount of channel time associated with charging up an ability. Instead of like 2 seconds or whatever it is, it's like 1.5, 1.75, 1.7 or something like that, right? Make it feel like, because this game moves quick. It moves fast, and with, you know, all the mobility we have in the game, it's gonna only move faster. The better players get, it's only gonna move faster. And I know they said they wanted to keep her, you know, charging up in abilities like a warrior, like a two-handed warrior in WoW, where you got to charge up your attacks and stuff. And it's, you know, it's a big two-handed hammer, and she's got to swing it around. And I'm over here like Leoric has a two-handed hammer, and he just instant Qs, instant autos. His autos automatically cleave, and he does a crit on one of them. Like, well, Yrel could do the same, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're trying to fit her into 2 different, like, categories is the problem. They're trying to fit fantasy, and they're also trying to fit her into the game, which is hard. Design-wise, that's a very tough thing because you're gonna have to falter on one to get the other.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
What do you that or I think even if they slow her attack speed a bit, but make her deal like substantially more damage, because she's charging up so much, and it should be like when you finish your charge, you can land one auto attack that just hits you really heavily with that big hammer, kind of keeping with that fantasy.
I want some Stukov level damage.
Yeah, have it just hit really slow so that, like, when she's charging, she's literally only going to get in like one basic attack between abilities, but make that basic attack hurt. Like, make sure she jumps on a backline and, like, hits one auto attack on a Li Ming. That Li Ming's like, damn, I need to back up a little bit. And, like, still make her be able to hit another one, like, fast enough to where she's just killing people. But, like, it should feel impactful if she jumps into your backline and is ignored.
A quick question for you guys. Now, I'm kind of curious about your opinion. So, Matt Villers, in his post, you know, he responded to a lot of the criticisms of Yrel. Now, one of the things that people were debating on is she a main tank or is she a bruiser? And he says, oh, well, she can be built for both. Do you agree? What do you think? Do you think she's A, fits better as a main tank, or B, fits better as a bruiser? And then also, do you think that we should be doing that? Also, that's another good question.
Should we be building as a bruiser? Or like what do you mean?
Should we be allowing heroes to be so diverse like that? Because I feel like the problem is not necessarily the idea, because it's always good to, like, oh, I want to vary up my talents or whatever is always good, but that's a lot, right? Being able to vary up your talents so much that you're actually changing categories seems.
Well, look at Blaze. Blaze is either a solo laner, but he's also been used as a main tank plenty of times. Same with Tyrael.
I mean,
There's been
not really,
plenty.
though.
I mean, there's
Really,
been plenty
though?
of main tank Tyraels in the past, and there's been a few bruisers. There's been a substantial amount of main tank Blazes, and there's also been probably an even amount of those Blazes in the solo lane.
You're talking about HGC. You're talking about Hero League, because anything can happen
Both.
in Hero League.
Well, both. There's been
But-
some in HGC too.
Blaze
I-
main tank in Hero League,
Blaze
or
main
in
tank Hero League.
HGC. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a couple of them like back a while ago.
Yeah, I think when he first came out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
think
think that it's always better to tell them kind of where you're headed with the hero, and then allow them to change it a little bit. But I'm not so sure. I think that
Like I don't.
having
I think it's
Yeah.
okay to. I think it's okay to like be able to say, hey, this guy can do a bit of both, but this one is just better. Like the Blaze scenario, a Blaze main tank isn't necessarily the best, but it's there. You can use it in some scenarios, but you know we find that off tanking is the best. Sonya, do we have a Sonya main tank ever? I mean, in some terrible Hero League games and stuff, it's happened. However, even Blizzard said, okay, she is a bruiser. Leoric is a bruiser. Tyrael, he's a main tank and a bruiser. Is he a bruiser, though? Like, is he as bruisery as the other ones? No, he kind of fills in. He could put out a little bit of extra damage, but he's mainly supporting. Maybe that's what he was trying to. Matt Village was trying to say is like you can do both, but not like, hey, she can 100% be a main tank and 100% be a bruiser. Like
Yeah.
and
So
then,
I think she's a good bruiser role now, like that support tank, like I was talking about, being able to back up. I actually back up like a squishy DPS. I actually saw a good combo with her today, where we had a Lucio that was speed boosting her around while she was charging up her abilities on the rotation, so people didn't have to mount up. So she would charge up her heal while Lucio's pushing that rotation speed still, and then she would be able to pop that big heal on rotation. I was like, wow, that's a pretty interesting way to use her. So I think like Lucio makes up for one of her falters, where when she's charging up, she's just slow and clunky. If you have a Lucio speed boosting you around to push out heals, dodge abilities, things like that, he's a little more useful. But we'll see how she
I don't
plays
know.
out.
I like being told what to do with the hero personally, just because people will always find out later what they can do with it anyway. Like, make it clear. Like when you do this thing where like, oh well, she can be a tank and she can be a bruiser. It's kind of like, okay, people just don't know. Now I'm gonna go into Plat, right? I'm gonna go into my Plat Hero League game, and it's gonna be a last pick tank, and it's gonna be Yrel solo tank, and it's gonna be bad, right? Whereas if you tell them it's a tank, then it's better because, or if you tell them it's a bruiser, then it's better because they will just choose it in bruiser situations. And then, okay, maybe we can find in Master League or something these scenarios where main tank works. I like that idea better. Like Zeratul is a good example of that too. Zeratul's clearly not meant to be a solo laner. He's not. That was not what he was designed for. But people have found a way to use him in the solo lane.
yeah.
A lot of times.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then when I look at her, like her bruiser talents, where she like maybe she deals a little more auto attack damage. I feel like at the point at which you get those talents, it's so late in the game, and then the amount of damage that they are pushing out isn't necessarily enough to be like, I feel threatened by this. You know, it's not like getting hit with a Sonya spear or a couple slams, like where you're like, she's not killing me, but she's adding enough pressure onto me where I'm like, I need to respect it. I need to back up. Whereas Yrel gets onto you and does that, you're like, ignore her. I think they need to buff up some damage numbers for sure. So
Yeah.
do we think? So like, do you want her, Soken? Do you want her to be a main tank? Do you want her to be?
No, I want her to be a bruiser personally. I think it's unfortunate, but I just think that she fits the bruiser role better with the sustain.
Yeah.
I just think that sustain is so nice. Like she may not have the wave clear like as much as other heroes do. I don't think her wave clear is as bad as people say it is. So I think she can at least hold the lane, and then I think that later on she provides other things in fights that other off lanes do not provide.
Yeah, she beats
I
Murky.
think
She beats Murky to lane. A Q, a half Q, and an auto blows up the pufferfish.
Yeah, I saw that on your stream today. It was pretty good.
Oh, did we lose Aurumis?
I think we did. Yeah.
Uh-oh, he's coming back. He's
Whoops,
coming.
whoops, my bad.
No, you're fine.
My Discord crashed. I was like, oh no.
No, you're good.
So yeah, I played her on stream today for a few hours, and I found that you don't necessarily have to charge up your abilities all the time to create the space for your squishy back. Oh, so let me just say this: she needs. I feel like she, in the scenario in the games that I played, she felt better in compositions where I had softer backline that dealt a lot of damage, and against melee-oriented compositions or compositions that, even if they were ranged, they were up in your face. Cassia, Phoenix, or whatever, they kind of like step up and try to like get onto you or your backline, and you can mitigate a lot of that damage. You can mitigate the damage with her talents. You can knock them away. You can interrupt. She's got some cleanses. She can heal. So you want to be around those targets as best as possible. And I was main tanking. There was one game where I had an ETC, but he was, I don't know what he was doing. But I ended up being the main tank, and actually, I don't know if you watched that clip, Aurumis, but that I posted in Discord.
Yeah.
Like, I took the level 20. We lost her. It was level 20 to level 20 on Sky Temple. Our ETC gets caught out. They go for the boss. I take my level 20 Ardent Defender upgrade. It's a Word of Glory, where all the damage that I take while I have my ult active, my heroic activated, all the damage that I take heals the any allies around me in an AoE.
That's insane, dude.
It is actually insane. Anyways,
and hold on, the wording is also interesting for that. Did you read the wording of the level 20?
it's 100% of the damage that I absorb, right? Or no.
No, it says heals nearby allied heroes for 100% of the healing received by Yreally. Now, does that mean you could throw an Ancestral on Yreally and explode AoE Ancestrals everywhere?
That is actually interesting.
I want to playtest that now.
I want to try that.
Yo, we're trying that in the after show games. We're doing that.
I call the URL.
So that is actually interesting. So anyways, Ardent Defender, you heal for 50% of the damage you take over the course of a few seconds. The boss was down to like 5% HP. They had all 5 of them were alive. Garrosh, they had Garrosh, Phoenix, Cassia, Kel'Thuzad, and Deckard Cain. I was sitting in that side bush on Sky Temple up next to the boss. I press D. I leap in all the way max range, drop right in. The Greymane comes in right behind me. We get put to sleep by Deckard Cain, and then Kel'Thuzad hits me with a Q. I wake up, I pop Ardent Defender. He drops this massive combo on me and Greymane together. Greymane looks like his health bar didn't move. Like it went up. It was insane how much healing that Greymane. He was like a half HP and ended up like boosting out. And we were able to completely wipe the enemy team on the boss and end the game. It was actually insane. But it felt like good there. It was just like, okay, we have this ETC. He's sliding. He's initiating. He's getting these nice mosh pits. It's cool. I'm over here picking up some extra side soak. Oh, they're going to fight. Let me get down there and join the fight. It felt good as that support bruiser. And in the games where I was the only tank, it felt terrible. Except for one game where we had a Sergeant Hammer. They had a Kerrigan, Garrosh, Rhaegar, Falstad. Anyways, we would just fight under Hammer. Anybody that got too close, I just slapped them away. If the Kerrigan jumps in all the way, I would slap the rest of her team away, and we would just kill Kerrigan. Like it was cool. It was cool. But yeah. So I'm enjoying her. I didn't like her at first, but like I'm beginning to kind of like her more.
We need to see how people play her more. I know that she's gonna have sub whatever percent. She's a new hero. Not only is she a new hero, right? Completely different mechanic. Completely different. Like this has never been done before. We've had charging stuff like Hanzo's Qs or whatever.
Yeah.
But we've never had a hero that her whole kit revolves around charging her abilities. It's going to take time for people to really get used to her. And the designer even said in his thing, some people aren't going to like that playstyle. I know for a fact I'm not going to like that playstyle. I'm more of like an auto-attacky. I don't mind casting spells and stuff, but I don't like to charge my abilities. Like, I'm not the biggest Hanzo fan either. So for me, I know I'm probably not going to like that as much. And I agree with that as well. People are upset. Oh, I don't like Yrel. I was expecting so much more, blah, blah, blah. You may just not like the playstyle, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of just how it is, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. So on Reddit, there was a Reddit post. The link will be in the show notes. There were some blue posts, some Blizzard responses to some questions people had about Yrel or whatever. And this all started because somebody in the official forums asked, "Hey, can we see the healing numbers that Yrel puts out on the score screen or on the score tab?" And he went into some detail about, maybe, but we didn't want to put that there because then, we didn't want people comparing Yrel's healing numbers to an actual support and, blah, blah, blah. And, I get it. But I will say, after I made that play and I saw all those green numbers popping up, you better believe I'm curious to know how much healing I put out there in that team fight. Yeah, I want to see.
I know, yeah.
There's a bunch of other questions there. Hang on, let me pull it up here and open.
Well, something that they discuss in there and they kind of go on about is they believe as the designers that showing more numbers in general when it comes to stats increases, during the game, it increases toxicity. And I actually, at first I was thinking about it and I didn't agree, but now that I've thought about it more, I kind of do agree. There's a lot of times in Hero League where, and I'm guilty of this too in the past, where you'll be like, something's wrong, and with this comp, and I can't put my finger on it. Oh, tab. Oh my God, that blank isn't putting enough damage. That hero, right? Yeah. So it just gives you excuses, and I don't like that. I don't like that idea.
That's true.
But I do like the idea that after my game, right after everything's said and done, I can go back to that the final source score screen at the end of the game and see every single stat that has to do with my hero or not. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I want to see everything.
Yeah, I want to see how much experience, how many minions I soaked, like how much XP that's.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. How many minions were you in range of that died?
Yeah.
To get you experience.
How many minions
that
did you
would
soak?
Be sick.
Yeah. Stuff like that. How much experience you soaked from the lanes, structures, kills.
Yeah, I always wish that you can look at the score breakdown, kind of like when you're in the middle of the game. You can highlight above if it's a level 16 to 16, you can put your mouse above that, and it'll break down. Like, this is how much from structures, this is how much minion soak, this is how much from camps or mercenaries it's labeled, and so on. I wish you could look at that after the game to figure out, like, okay, where did my team go wrong? Like, was it just kills? Were we missing soak? Because, like, sometimes you're not paying attention to it and the game's over, and I'm like, wait, like, what do we miss?
True. Yes. You can do that in game right now, but it's also not very clear, and there's a lot going on in game that you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Do you think highlight over that?
Do you think like ability accuracy is important to know as well? Like, do you think that's
Yeah.
I think it depends, and I think it depends, and I think that stat is useful.
Yeah, you missed. Like I only landed 30% of my Swift strikes on Genji.
I'd be really curious of what I am on Chromie.
No, I think that's good. I think a lot of that's good, though, because I think it'll raise the bar on, how we see performance. And I think it will make you want to get better, too. You'll be like, oh, I'm a Stitches main. I only landed, let's say 50% of my hooks. I know I can do better than that, right? I want to improve that specifically. Yeah. And it allows people to, we always talk about like practice, and we've talked about in previous episodes, like go into a game and want to improve on one thing. Well, how do they know what to improve on if they don't have the stats or anything to know, right?
Yeah.
So that's another tool for them to say, oh, I want to improve my hook percentage.
Yeah. All I know is that, I died three times less than somebody else, or I stayed alive longer than I typically do at the end of a game sometimes.
It's like good and bad, because I was actually doing a lesson with a couple people the other day. I actually coached a team, and it was 4 of them and then me, and we were playing team league and stuff like that, and I'm like helping them out, telling them what to do. And one guy was just going in super hard every time, and he was always like, "Oh, I'm just getting like my numbers up," and I was like, "Yeah, you might have
Wait, what?
5,000. Yeah,
What
I was
the
like,
hell?
you might have 5,000 more hero damage, but you died 6 times through 3 of the games, and all the damage you did, like their Stukov just healed up for no mana cost once you got chunked out." And he kept doing it. He's like, "Oh," and then I was like, "You just need to stay back and wait for the right moment." And like afterwards, we watched all the replays, and I was pointing out, like, "Look, when like you listen to the calls and like we positioned for this fight here, the fight happened really quick. Like, yeah, you might not have 100,000 hero damage at the end of the game. You might only have 30,000, but it's because the fight went quick and because you won." And he's just like, "Oh, well, like that's not how I like to play. I like having high numbers." And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like high numbers means I'm doing better. And I'm like, look,
Whoa.
I was like, look at us being behind 3 levels when you're getting solo killed.
Armis,
versus-
Armis, what are you talking about? High numbers, dude. He had 9 deaths. Come on.
I podiumed MVP screen, you guys. I'm better than you.
We're not even at 9 deaths. The best was, like, we're taking the objective and like we're on Infernal Shrine Zone game. You kill 20 minions, he gets chunked out, has to back, so we have to give it up. And then by time he actually like hearts back and gets back into the lane, we've already lost it. And he's just like, "Oh, I only died 2 times. Well, we lost 4 objectives in a row because you had to back."
And we lost the game. Nah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was a weird tangent to go on there, but
Good tangent though.
yeah.
But it makes sense in terms of the numbers. Like, yeah, I think showing it after the game decreases what you're talking about, Armis. Like that bad behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
Like showing it after the game, I think is better. And people like that though, that are like, "Oh, my numbers, blah blah blah," they're gonna be whatever anyway. I don't think there's much anyone can say to them.
But like this guy like came for coaching. Like he like wants to get better. It's just like there's a screw loose. There's something wrong that he does not understand it. And I don't know. I feel like showing it after the game or like doing a comparison of like, what your numbers are correlating to you doing. Like how much damage you take, I think is good too. Like showing how much damage tanks take is super cool. But I
Yeah.
want to know how much damage I'm tanking as like Avala. Like how much did I get hit that game to result in me dying or to result in me wasting my healer's cooldowns? Like show a
Yeah.
DPS. Like if you're playing Genji and you've tanked 100,000 damage one game, you did something horribly wrong and should probably figure out what that is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think like I like how they're like, "Oh, we want to show certain stats for certain roles," but I feel like if they showed all the stats for all the heroes, like show me how much damage I'm taking as Genji, show me like all these other things so I can understand, hey, I took too much damage, hey, I wasn't aggressive enough and took no damage, so I must have just been stuck in lane the whole time. Why didn't I rotate the team fights more?
Yeah.
That's another thing. If you notice you took 2,000 damage one game, maybe you split push too hard and should join the team once in a while.
Yeah.
Like I feel like showing all of those things will give people a better baseline of where to improve.
I think we all agree that post game, all the stats, details, breakdowns,
Just
whatever.
give it to me, baby. Give it to
Even
me.
downloadable. You know what would be so sick is if I could press a button and download a CSV, so like a Excel spreadsheet basically of all my stats for that game.
That's
Or
too-
all the stats.
yeah.
For all the heroes.
You just went into another dimension right now, dude.
Oh my god, I'm too engineering right now.
Yeah,
Just
you
just
got
how
you
League
got
is after
two.
the game. There's all the charts of like everything in the
Oh
game.
my god,
That's
pie
like the
charts
one-
everywhere.
Dude, that's the one thing I like about League. Is like when I finish a game, there's a graph for everything I did. There's a graph for things I didn't even know existed in the game.
Yeah, and that's a
That's
good
all for
point.
hops.
Maybe you reveal some kind of mechanic that we didn't even know was calculated, and then we can be like, huh.
Imagine how much HGC can improve with all these stats. You don't need a specific person to
Do it for you.
do all this. You don't need an analyst anymore. You necessarily. I mean, you could.
Feels bad.
You could have an analyst just to like explain the stats, right? Help explain.
Right. So maybe use that data while you guys are scrimming. He can come up with other stuff. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but they don't have to do things like JHow. What JHow does right now is fucking insane. I'm sorry, but like
Yeah,
he has to calculate how many power slides landed for Fnatic and all this different stuff, and I'm just like, dude, that is way too much work.
yeah.
That's insane.
You mean I don't need to update my 20-page Google document with all the stats after my scrim games to figure out how bad my team is doing?
Feels bad. Anyways, but yeah, the link is in the show notes for this Reddit post. And they talk about some of the stuff when it comes to like what her role should be. and how they see it. Like, oh, she puts out damage. She can survive and put out damage over time the way Blaze can. I don't see that right now, but maybe I'm missing something. I'm gonna have to test and get back to you guys. But all right, let's move on here. Alterac Pass is not out right now, but maybe I shouldn't put this in the news. But
I think it's important to at least mention.
Yeah, it comes out next week for all unranked modes. Quick match, unranked draft, AI, custom games. You can play, you can get the map in rotation, but you cannot get it in Hero League yet. And I think they're waiting for the start of the new season before they put... Because the map is going to be in the Hero League rotation, but I think they're waiting until the new season before throwing it in there. Is this the first time they do this? Like, or because I feel like, well, before we used to rotate maps out like every couple weeks, right? We were changing it for Hero League, but I like this. I like this what they're implementing. You know.
Oh my god, it's so nice because last time I just have these bad memories of Hanamura. Hanamura immediately came out in all modes, and I went in just hating it every single time. That was not the right way to do it.
And then the map rotation would change the following week, and Hanamura was still there, and you're like, oh, come on.
Get out of here!
Yeah. Okay, all right, cool. I'm excited to play.
The best right now.
I want to play it, but I don't want to play it in ranked the first week it comes out.
Yeah, and like that also maybe encourages some of those Hero League monsters that are out there that just play Hero League. Maybe encourages them to actually go to an unranked draft and actually learn the map instead of just I'm gonna pick Zul'jin or whatever. Maybe they'll still do that. I don't know.
I learned in Hero League.
But okay, cool. So a lot of cool stuff coming. I'm excited. I'm always excited when these changes happen because we get to theory craft so much and just try to figure things out and figure out what's best, what's bad, or whatever. And sometimes we come up with our own crazy stuff that works sometimes. But all right, cool. So let's talk about our Hero League. Let's give our Hero League reports. Aurumis, you've probably played the most Hero League out of all of us here. How have you're steadily climbing right now, yeah?
Yeah, I had a pretty bad day when I streamed. Vikings game went horrible. We'll talk about that soon. I ended up going like 3-6. Turned off the stream, relaxed for a little bit, came back, and ended up winning 9 out of my next 12. So that turned out pretty well.
Dang.
Ended up going up. Yeah, ended up going up quite a bit. I'm gonna try and keep going up tonight. I'm at 7,600 now. I want to try to at least get to like a little over 8K tonight. Hopefully, I'm thinking within the next week or two I'll hit GM. Depends on how much the point total keeps going up, but it's going well. I found out Phoenix is really good in Hero League right now. I think he's super strong. Chromie's super strong. Like between the two of them, they've been like my go-tos. I think the only problem with Phoenix obviously is you have to pick him late or ban Varian because there's just too many people that want to abuse that bug really hard, and like it's unfortunate. I wish Blizzard would patch it or say like, hey, if you abuse this bug, we're going to ban you, like they did with the Kael'thas bug when people used to abuse that for a while. They're like, if we see you doing it, you're going to take it out of rank.
Actually, real quick, I'm sorry. The map comes out next week for all game modes, but isn't available in Hero League, I think, until July 10th.
Yeah, I think they're going to put it at the start of the next season.
Yeah, so that's going to be a few weeks of like no Alterac Pass in Hero League.
Good.
Which I think is good.
We already talked about that.
Yeah. I got the dates wrong. I thought for whatever reason the season was ending in 2 weeks, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm glad they're doing that. Honestly, I hope that they look at it, and I hope that it's like approved that it's a good map and that like people are gonna like it in Hero League before they set that in stone. Because the map pool right now is perfect. It's the HGC pool. Like there's nothing wrong. Like I hate when I play even unranked games with like my students and I'm trying to coach. and I just end up on like Garden of Terror, and I'm like, this isn't going to help you at all. Or we end up on Warhead, and I'm like, I'm sorry for whatever is going to occur.
Why? I kind of wish that the unranked. Sorry, we're going on another tangent here, but I wish the unranked draft map rotation, the map pool, was the same as Hero Leagues.
Yep, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you just instill those habits, that the good habits of, we're playing on these maps, everyone has this meta, and if you want to play quick match, Garden of Terror, Black Hearts, Bay Hunter Mine, cool, whatever. But unranked draft is a little more competitive, I would say, than quick match, and not as competitive as Hero League, but you still get people that play a lot of unranked draft. That is their try hard mode. That is their unranked, their ranked mode, so to speak. I put that in air quotes. Sometimes I feel like I'm matched against better play. Like, I'm like, whoa, these guys are good. Like, what the heck? These guys are not in my Hero League games. What the heck?
Yeah, right.
But anyways. What about you, Soken? How's your Hero League? I know you mentioned you haven't been able to play a whole lot, but
yeah, I played a little bit of Hero League between last time and this time, or this last episode and this episode. It's a rough season so far. Basically, like every time, I think what happened is when I got placed, I think my MMR was higher than my rank, and so what happened is I'm like the only person in my league on my team, and everyone else is not as good as me. Does that make sense? Like, my MMR is inflated, and so the people on my team are not as good to equal out with all the like average people on their team. So overall, their teams are better than mine on a player basis.
Yeah,
because I have had some really bad players on my team. I'm sorry, but I have. And what happened is I went all the way down to my plat. I was at the top of plat 2. Went all the way down to plat 2 demo, and I've been just like this, just like demo, not demo, demo, not demo, not 50% win rate forever now. And I think I'm finally getting to the point now where my MMR is unfortunately evening out. It's like, it's a really bad thing for me to have to say that, as the system should not make me want my MMR to be lower, but I'm going to be getting better games now that my MMR is lower, because I'm matched on average with people that are quote unquote as skilled as me, and the team is more like on average better, if that makes sense.
And you can like carry those games out because
I can actually
everybody
win those games.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I had that problem when I was in Plat and in Diamond, and even in Low Master. Like, there'd be a point where all of a sudden you're banning every game, and you're like, "What is going on?" And then you start losing, and then all of a sudden you're not banning anymore, and then you start winning, and then you start losing again. It's a weird conspiracy, dude.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
I feel like forced 50 right now, like more than ever. Right now.
Yeah, I was banning over a bunch of GMs this week, and I'm like, I'm still 5K points off or something like that from a lot of these players I'm banning over. I'm like, these people have 50% more points than me, and I'm banning over them. Something's up. So that's always been a little weird, because then you notice that there's like a few GMs on your team, and then like a bunch of top GMs on the other team, and then there's just little old me, and it's like...
In Master, it's slightly different though too, right? Because you got Smurfs that are in Master that are Grandmaster players, and like there's so many weird situations in Masters compared to like all the other ranks, I feel.
Yeah. I have not played Hero League at all since last week, but getting back into it. I'm getting back into even playing HOTS like consistently. Got to play a bunch of quick match URL games today, but feels bad. I failed. I let everybody down this week, but next week I will
played
have.
Zagara, bro.
Yeah.
I at least played Zagara.
Yeah. But next week you will have something from me. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move into our next segment here, Gaining Insight.
My mind is clear.
All right, so nobody sent us any questions, you bums. It's probably because I was super late on uploading the podcast, like super late. I got caught up, but we'll make sure that doesn't happen for next week either. But yeah, nobody sent me anything, but that's okay, because I have a question here that I've been wanting to ask you guys for a long time and kind of get pick your brains on. But what do you guys think? What is the viability of ranged heroes as solo laners? Are there any heroes other than Zagara and Phoenix that you guys feel could solo lane? And is that something that we will see people explore, and maybe even just at some point, hey, this person is viewed as a solo laner in their ranged hero? Like, do you think we'll see more of that, or like what are you guys' thoughts? Starting with you, Aurumis.
I think that, yeah, there's a lot of ranged solo laners. I think there's a lot of ranged 2-3 lanes that you could do too, especially on like 2-lane maps.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, like I've experimented a lot with Tychus against some of the bruisers, Zul'jin against Leo to just stack up. Obviously, Phoenix is another one. Greymane's great in the solo lane. He could be considered a range at some points. Who else? I mean, like Nazeebo is technically a range specialist. Zagara, technically. Also both good in the solo lane. We had a Junkrat solo lane today. He was just stuck up there. You just poke the wave from afar, and you really could never push the lane against them. Like, he's just pretty much stuck.
Yeah.
I think there really is a lot of options for ranged solo laners, and I think as they keep changing like tanks and bruisers around, because I think that's the role that's seen. Yeah, Falstead's another one, I said recently in the chat. I think as they start changing tanks and bruisers around a lot, you're going to see more main tank and bruiser in the 4-man with a DPS and support, and have a ranged solo laner rather than the bruiser in the solo lane. I've actually watched a lot of games where it's worked out, where like a solo lane might be losing, they send a ranged assassin top, switch the bruiser to the bottom, and like the two bruiser, like the tank and bruiser combo with one DPS just ends up pushing out the lane so hard, because it's so aggressive. It's so hard to just like deal with all of that beef and all of that pressure.
Yeah, you can't kill them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as they keep changing that role around and making those bruisers a little bit more oppressive in lane when partnered with a DPS that they can back up, that you'll see a lot more having a ranged solo laner and keeping the 4-man as like a 2 melees, like your warrior and your bruiser, and then support and squishy.
You know what I've been wanting to see on Team of the Spider Queen as like a mix, kind of to spice things up. You pick up your ranged early on. That's probably gonna be your solo laner, like your Phoenix, maybe a Lunara, or whatever. Jimmy Raynor,
Jimmy.
Yeah. I mean, hey. He's got sustain, right? We're just being wild here for now. You take your ranged hero, you put him into solo lane, and then you have your main tank, maybe like a Muradin, an ETC, maybe like something aggressive, and then on the back end of that you have some wave clear. Maybe you have like a Kel'Thas or a Gul'dan or Jaina or something like that, and then you stick a Leoric in that rotation to augment.
We talked about this.
We've talked about this.
This is a game. That was actually the game I showed you. Remember when we had the Leo and the Lunara in the same lane, and they switched the Lunara to solo, put the Leo up top, and you were like, "Holy crap, this works so well!" And me and you talked about that. That was one of my games from a scrim that I ended up showing you. I think.
Yeah. So the Leoric was able to help with the wave clear, right? But he was also able to put so much pressure on that solo tank that was in the rotation. They didn't care about hitting the backline or the support. It was a Johanna that was on the opposite team. The Johanna would step up, Leoric would put the hand on her and just punish, and she would have to back up and reset, and because of that pressure, he was able to rotate out. And then they kept the Lunara in the bottom lane, and the Lunara was able to be, I think it was like a Malthael or something like that.
Yeah.
And
still win that lane.
Yeah, he still won. So it's like, this is actually really interesting. And then even then, it's just like, okay, what does the rest of the comp look like? We got Entomb or whatever. You've got slows with Leo, and this is before Lunara got reworked too. This is this is a long time ago. Leoric has the slows, which then augments Lunara's unfair advantage poison in the team fights, things like that. But yeah, I would like to see more Lunara in a solo lane personally. I think she doesn't even need the healing talents. She can play safe, poke out, do some poking, wear that person down. She beats that Leoric. She beats that Malthael. I don't think she beats out Sonya. Sonya is just Sonya.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, you can. It's possible.
I've seen Jaina's in the solo lane against Sonya in scrims, and that I've seen Sonya's die, just get obliterated, and then the whole time
That makes a little more sense.
and the whole time Jaina's just stacking her quests off the Sonya in the lane.
Yeah.
She doesn't push, she doesn't do it. She just soaks the lanes and stacks off of Sonya.
Yeah, I had 2 Falstad games today where I played against one against the Dahaka and one against the Sonya, both GM players, and they just got destroyed. Like, it was bad. Like, I was just like, okay, I'm just Falstad every time Dahaka steps up. I went Q quest. I ended up stacking up to I think I had 130 stacks or 140 stacks of Q that game. He would walk in the lane, I would throw Q, blow it up, he's half dead. And
Well, with 130, 40 stacks, that's an insane amount of damage. Holy crap.
Yeah, we ended up winning that game. I think we had 21 kills, not a single person on our team died. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? What are some things then that we worry about if we have a ranged hero in the solo lane? Because the ranged heroes are typically squishy, right? Or they're squishier targets.
Get this. I'm about to drop a bomb right now, dude.
All right.
I'm about to drop a bomb. And especially, this is mostly in Hero League, right? I'm not talking about competitive necessarily, but any non-support, as in real healer support, can be a solo laner. And you just have to know when you go into that game, if your draft goes insane and you don't know why people chose whatever and you don't have an actual solo lane, you should either take the lane if you know that your character is good at it, or recommend one that you know is good. So, what you guys were saying, right? Jaina. It's I went into a game like what Aurumis was saying. I went into a game once as a Junkrat, and literally said, "Hey." I even had a solo laner. I was like, "Hey, solo laner, you're gonna have a hard time in that lane. I'll take it for you." And I took it as a Junkrat.
Yeah.
I can solo lane as a Li Ming. I can solo lane as a Vala, dude. I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
It really is just you knowing the limitations of your character, the limitations of the other hero, and all that stuff, right? I mean, you just need to hold the lane. You don't even need to win the lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't understand you don't have to win the lane. I've solo laned as Stukov against Jaina and bodied Schizo. I'm looking at you, dude. It was a 1v1 matchup.
Oh no.
But,
I mean, I would say the only things you need to worry about with ranged solo laners is introducing more of those high mobility heroes. Like you said, ranged heroes are squishy. When you're playing on maps like Braxis, like Dragonshire, like Sky Temple, where there's often times a lot of splitting, it's very easy for a Genji to come in and delete you. Very easy for a Tracer to come in and delete you. And that's where you have to really be a lot more coordinated, a lot more aware of the map. It's where you need to maybe consider doing things like the 2-3.
Yeah.
Or like a 2-1-2, like things like that, and then just make it weird. Put the solo lane in the mid lane. Nobody ever thinks of that. You could have a 2-1-2 where you're two man's body. I remember we used to do it before with my dorms team. Because a lot of dorms teams really don't know what they're doing. We'd say, okay, we're gonna put Greymane and Brightwing top, and then a Tass and Illidan in the bottom lane, and then a Johanna or whatever, a tank mid. And Greymane, Brightwing would dominate the top lane.
Yeah.
Illidan and Tassadar destroy whatever lane they're in. There's almost no way to beat that because of how much wave clear you have, and your tank can hold. And you can't really go around and gank because we have the 2 off lanes, the 2 side lanes as our 2-mans that we're forcing them to because we have so much push. And what are you going to do? Gank the tank in the mid lane? That's not a viable option. And we would body with that strat because people just wouldn't know how to respond to it.
Yeah. Robin of Loxley in the chat brings up a good point that the changes to the ammo have helped in probably expanding the what's good in the solo lane, or it makes solo laning when you're Muradin you know, against a Sonya or whatever the case, like less painful, right? Like,
Yeah. Sometimes you have to do it too. Like you don't have a choice in Hero League.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you get bodied by that Asmodan and you're murdered, and you're like, oh, come on, this should not be happening right now. But yeah, cool. I want to try out more ranged laners in lane and see how that goes. And you know, I'm not saying in your Hero League just I'm picking, I don't know, Rainer or I don't know. Maybe if you want to do that, fine. But and for those that are listening, watching in chat, whatever, try it out. You know, try it out in your quick match, your Hero League, or I'm sorry, your unranked or whatever. And if you feel confident, I think you can probably move into your Hero League games. There's a lot of flexibility and creativity that occurs in this game that I think there's room for.
We used to do that. Do you remember? We would go into customs, and everyone would choose like a random hero, or I don't remember exactly how we did it, but we had heroes that were not solo laners, picking like staying in a lane all game against each other, literally just fighting for the lane, choosing talents that would help you win the lane. Like
That
it
was
is
the drill
possible.
I gave you guys.
Yeah. So we've done that before. Like that is a thing you can do.
By the way, Aurumis Medivh solo lane is not that good. So.
Ooh. Hey there. All right.
I'm just messing. Anyways, so let's go. Let's move along here. Let's go over our challenges and then we'll end the show.
Get good or get wrecked.
Whoa, that was weird. It went get good or get wrecked, and then you like squeaked something there. That was. You know what? We're doing that again.
Get good or get wrecked.
Because there's no more squeaking that Soken was doing there. I'm just messing. It's all good. All right, cool. Troll our challenges of the week. First of all, let's go over our challenges. Aurumis, you told me to play Zarya in a game where, because I'm a support main, play Zarya in a game where I think it would work. I wasn't able to do it. However, I did play a bunch of Yrel, which I think is a support tank, and I was able. And because I apply that mentality, I'm actually liking her a lot more because I'm looking at her as like a support instead of like jumping around doing stuff. But I still got to do that for you at some point.
But do you remember I played Zarya a couple times with you? You remember that?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Dude,
yeah, that was fun.
She still is good. She's still good.
I was playing Cassia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Yeah. So I didn't do the Zarya, but I did do the challenge that I pushed out to everybody else that was listening and watching to play Cassia. And I played Cassia again. We were like against mages and stuff and all that. And I went just Q build. I was specifically just going Q build against those types of compositions. I did not go charge strikes at all. I didn't think I had an opportunity to because there weren't very many melees that I could just deal a lot of splash damage against. But I like Cassia. I think she's still pretty good. She actually pushes out a lot of damage over time, even if it's not through her auto attack. Like the Q poke damage is actually really annoying and really strong. And even though I didn't have my auto attack, the same auto attack armor, the trait armor, it was instead of 65, it's 40 now. Or maybe it was 60, now it's 45. I can't remember.
I think it was. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
There was a 6. Now there's a 4. I don't remember.
But like she had an HP increase. I felt good. Like I felt like I'm no longer this like one trick only niche hero. Like now it's like if I'm Cassia, I can still kill you. I don't care who you are. If I can land my Qs and get that Valkyrie. I was playing Valkyrie every game. Ooh. Against those mages, dude. Just yoinking that Kel'Thas in, yoinking that Lucio, that Malfurion. It felt good. I've always liked Cassia. I've always liked Q build. I had a blast. I think she feels great. But yeah, Aurumis, yours was to play the Lost Vikings.
Ooh, we did. We played a Vikings game. We actually had a really good comp for it. We ended up having Vikings, Tracer, I think Zeratul, tank support. So really good comp to just like keep the Vikings soaking all 3 lanes. If the Tracer and Zeratul stick together, anything they want to die dies. Like, you can't escape that. I played the Vikings pretty well. I think I had the least amount of deaths on the team as Vikings. And, like, I'm counting that as, like, individual Viking deaths. I think I had, like, 1 total death, so, like, 4 Vikings deaths. And I think everybody else on my team died at least, like, 5 times. They constantly split up, like, with the Vikings in lane, just soaking and not getting anything done. There was a really big confusion when I picked it. Like I've never, like, played with the Vikings before. Like, they're just kind of clueless to what you're supposed to do. I think since Garden of Terror was taken out of the map pool.
What map were you playing?
Cursed Hollow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think there's been a sharp decrease, like, since Warhead and Garden of Terror were taken out. Like, there hasn't been much Vikings play, so I think a lot of players that aren't, like, older or familiar with the meta just don't know how to play with them. Just really clueless to that part of the game. I wish that would change. Like, that's just more of an educational thing. I think if they understood how to play with them, it would have went better. Because, like, the game went okay. It was just people got picked. And, like, when that happens a lot with Vikings, there's really no way to come back. It kind of just snowballs into the enemy team's favor. Because it's like 4v5ing is hard. 3v5ing is impossible.
It's funny because, well, okay. I will say you didn't shot call as much as I was hoping you would.
Yeah, I don't think I really did it all. I didn't have my mic on for it. It was just on stream.
Yeah, so I think a little bit of that might have helped if they were in comms. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's only one. It was just the support player. That's why I ended up turning it off and just focusing on stream chat.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, it was a good game for it. It looked like your team was fine. I was watching it on stream, and it was just kind of unfortunate. Like, there was 2 people. There was, like, still 1 person in every lane at least, and I was like, dude, no one knows, like, has any idea what's going on here.
Yeah, it feels bad. Unfortunate. Unlucky.
We got an E for effort.
Yeah. All right. Soken, what about you? Yours was to play Zagara.
You broke up there? What'd you say?
Oh, I said your challenge was to play Zagara, one trick, pretty much.
Yeah. I did. I played. So I was 4-0 in quick match. The games were insane, dude. I have a new build. It's not a split push build. It's a team fight build. And you get the best of all worlds. You get a global presence. You get high single person damage. And you have so a global presence, high single person damage, and you have split push power. Anyway, you just win.
Well, what's your
and this is
what's
the
your
thing.
build?
This is the sad thing, real quick, before I go into the build. I had a chance to choose her in a Yreally game off stream, and I second guessed myself. And then right after, they last picked Zagara against me, and I was in the solo lane, and I got fucking destroyed. I got wrecked. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, this was my chance, and I didn't do it. But it's whatever. So my build is level 1. You take corpse feeders for the 50%. They buffed it from 40 to 50% less damage from non-heroic sources. Then I go serrated spines because now you actually typically have a lot longer to make this work. And you also want it. I mean, it kind of depends on your.
Serrated spines is that stacking, the auto attack stacking quest. Okay.
Yeah, it also depends on who's in your lane. I will say that this is a. I've done everything. I've done all these in different situations, so they all work. But I will say serrated spines is the one that you get the most team fight value out of, just straight up. Period.
Yeah.
And then I typically go slow Banes with this build because you're going for that team fight potential. You want to be able to stagger the Banes, so you would do like a Q attack, auto attack, Q auto attack, Q auto attack, and so they're just slowed for 20% every single time, like between those Banes. And it's actually really nice, especially for the more mobile heroes. If you can land a Bane on them, it's really nice. Then you go Nidus Network. Even though they buffed Ma, I still would not recommend it unless you're like super comfortable with it. But that's just my opinion. At level 13, I experimented with Hydralisk Transfusion, which is you get healed for the Hydralisk damage. And I felt like it worked out pretty well, especially in conjunction with Corrosive Saliva, the Hunter Killer. So the Hydralisk what is it called? The Hydralisk Giant Killer, basically.
Yeah,
So you
it
do
deals like
percentage damage.
2.5. That was buffed too, actually.
Yeah, that was buffed as well. And that, by the way, Hydra is absolutely insane. The damage on that thing over time, once you hit like level 7, you just like. Oof.
In one game that I played Cigar, I went Brood Expansion because I went Nidus Network too, and I went Brood Expansion, and I was fighting on my creep. I would send out my Hydra because Brood Expansion lowers the cooldown and mana cost of your Hydra.
Yeah.
And then I would sit on creep and auto attack, and I would have like 2 Hydras in the team fight shooting one person. It's actually kind of insane.
Yeah. I feel like if they have a lot of squishy heroes, you go with the Brood Expansion. If they have a lot of tanky heroes, you go with the Corrosive Saliva. And then level 13 is also pretty up in the air. Level 20, you definitely go Endless Creep. You want to be able to get that vision from far away. It's just kind of like what you do with this build. Overall, absolutely insane hero. Just insane. I could like they were saying it's a readjustment. They're saying it's a change so that she's less of a lane bully and more of a team fighter. Absolutely incorrect. Whatever they did, it's absolutely insane. You are a bully at level 1. You're a team fighter at level 20. So it doesn't matter. Like, you're just good.
I saw Aurumis play a Zagara game on stream, and that was a feed fest.
Oh, yeah.
Aurumis was feeding.
Hey, we won that game. I told them, I was like, we had such a bad comp, and it was just going so bad. I was like, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run it down top constantly until we win the game. And Goon just types LOL in the chat. I was like, watch, it's going to work. We were losing like 20-5. I just kept running it down top, and eventually the top and bottom towers were both at 1 health. We took them both. Ended up rushing it down mid, took the 3rd tower, ended up winning the game right off that.
That was crazy.
Our team had like 10 kills, the other team had like 30, but we won.
And Aurumis died 28 times.
Yeah, and I died like 28 of those times. I died as fast as I can get to top lane and somebody can respond to gank me. I died. I was like, I'm just going right for the tower. It was like one of those games. Like, I'm just
that is just absolute, just like frustrating.
But that's exactly how you have to win in Master 7K points. Only the highest level of gameplay on my only the highest level of gameplay on my streams.
Right on. Dang.
Oh my god.
Cool. All right. So before we end here, let's send out our challenges for this week. Soken, come on, man. Come on.
Who am I giving a challenge to?
You're giving a challenge to me.
All right. I want you to just play Yrel. I just want you to play Yrel, man.
Okay.
Because like this is the thing is when we first played her, and I think you were just tilted outside of the game anyway, but when you first played her, you were like, "This is garbage. This is terrible. Like, this design is crap. I can't do anything." And it felt bad. Yeah. And then you started playing her more. Now you're starting to see the light a little bit. And I want to see, does it go up? Does it continue to increase, or does it go back down to the, well, she just overall feels bad? Like, yeah. I want to hear, because I feel like you have the biggest, you go into the biggest analysis on how things really feel and look.
A lot of my, for me, like, I don't really look a lot at numbers and stuff. For me, it's like, what is I've the sheer amount of games that I've played of Heroes of the Storm over the course that it's come out. Like, a lot of my knowledge has just come just because I've fed so many times and just played so many games, and like that is where my knowledge comes from. I don't sit there looking up numbers and spreadsheet. I can't do that stuff. It's just what feels right in my heart, you know. Yeah,
and I like that. I want to see that analysis because right now people are claiming the numbers are low, blah blah blah. Yeah. So screw the numbers. I want to see how you can make it work, how it feels, and that's kind of where I'm at with that, I think. Okay. Oh, and okay, to make it a little more challenging, without choosing Divine Steed at 7. I hate that talent anyway, so don't ever choose it.
Okay.
You don't get to choose it.
All
you
right.
gotta play the hard way.
No, I like it because I think the talent's cheap.
It is cheap.
All right, cool. More Yrel. I'll play Yrel only, and no Divine Steed.
Yrel only.
Mm-hmm. All right. Aurumis. Let's see. For you. What challenge can we have for what is challenging for Aurumis? We've already done a good one, and that was you can't play Chromie.
We could do just up the. We could say something like make him shot call in Hero League more.
We could.
It doesn't have to be like play hero.
Could do that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Because I watch your games and like I know you like people are doing something you're like, dang, we should have done this, we should have done that. I want you to say, to your team, hey, let's do this. Like you have chat there, you're listening to what they're saying.
I turn it off every time. I'll turn voice on.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll turn voice on stream for one of the days, and I'll shot call games for one day.
Okay. And stream at a normal hour, dude. Not at like midnight Pacific time when like everybody is asleep. But okay.
All right. I will try and how about this for everybody that's watching? I will stream all of this set in stone. Let me check my coaching schedule and make sure I don't have a lesson when I'm about to say I'm going to do this. I will be doing it Monday night, same time as the show.
Okay. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, Aurumis 8 channel. Tune into it.
All right.
We'll be shot calling games.
All right. What do you got for Soken for this week?
I love Soken, and I like seeing him a little flustered once in a while.
No, I don't want. I'm not doing it in Hero League, whatever it is.
All right. It's a good one. It's part of our topic today. You said you want range solo laners, and Goon made fun of me before, and I'm a little butthurt for it. So I want to see something to make me feel better. I want you to do some Medivh solo lane. Give me some range solo lane.
Come on, man.
Medivh is a great solo laner.
You just got
against the melee, you could body them because it's free Qs. If you focus on that skill shot accuracy, you can kill the solo laner multiple times. I want to see how you do it. I want to see some patience, because a lot of times I like watching you stream. You get very excited with your assassins. You throw out your abilities. Sometimes they hit really hard. Sometimes they miss. Sometimes you're too far up. Sometimes you're too far back. Medivh in a solo lane has to be so patient. If you miss that Q and you don't hit the wave, if you just only hit the hero, or you miss the hero and only hit the wave, you get set real far behind. It'll snowball on you hard. I want to see a patient, calm, cool, collected Soken, taking his time, hitting Qs on stream.
Patience is not my virtue, man.
I like
it. That's exactly why I wanted you to do it.
All right.
Give me a Medivh game on stream. I want to see it.
All right.
In the solo lane.
I don't even care if it's Garden of Terror. If you're up there laning against a Sonya or something like that, just do it.
All right. We'll do it.
All right, cool. Well, with that, that's it. That's the end of the show. However, before we leave, I want to thank our chieftains, Super Dave and Preston, for pledging their support to the trolls, and to Schizo for creating our thumbnail for this week and each and every week. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty good. You'll see it. You'll see it eventually. And thank you all to everyone in chat, everyone that listens to the show, downloads the show on all the audio platforms, YouTube, Twitch. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening to us and whatnot, and engaging with us. Thank you all for listening to the Nexus Trolls, a Heroes of the Thorn podcast, which we stream live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/trollsgg, every week on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Aurumis, where can the people find you?
Find me specifically on my Twitch channel this week at Aurumis8. Find me on Twitter at AurumisGG. It says it right over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Or you can find me on Discord, in the Discord chat. I should be AurumisGG on Discord too. Feel free to add me, hit me up for anything. And you can find me on Gamer Sensei if you're interested in coaching. I'll post a link in the chat again in a second. And yeah, let me know if you guys ever need anything.
Cool. Soken, where do you lurk?
You can at me at SokenGLHF with memes. Specifically, I like memes. And I will also be streaming my challenge. Hopefully I can get a group together to do some like unranked or something like that. I think I'm gonna do Tuesday night. I'm gonna try a Tuesday night stream on Soken Gaming on Twitch.
PogChamp.
Want to team league that? Make it interesting.
If we can get like a good group together, because I'm a little, I wouldn't team league. I'm too competitive. I can't team league the Medivh challenge.
Okay.
I can't do that.
He's too try hard, man. Right. He's too sweaty.
I am.
What if I get on a Smurf and just carry you through it? So good or bad, we still win. I'll get on like a bronze 5 account. No worries.
Oh god, it's gonna be a Reddit post about Aurumis.
We'll see. I'll see. Anyway, Tuesday night. We'll see how it goes.
You guys can find me on Twitter at GOONHOTS, GOON HOTS, HOTS as in Heroes of the Storm, not the way I look. You can also find me on Twitch at GOONHOTS as well. Streaming, you can go back and watch my Yrel VODs. I'll be streaming here more often now that my schedule's back up. I'm good to go. Felt good. Good to be back in the game, baby. Make sure you follow. I'll be doing my challenge there as well as well as other things. Today when I was playing Yrel, I pulled up a Google Doc on stream. I had chat kind of giving me their notes, their thoughts, things that they saw, and we're all taking notes together on this document on Yrel and whatnot. And also my Hero League journey. It's called Memoirs of a Goon.
What?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
I just announced it right here. Memoirs of a Goon.
Oh my god! I love it, dude.
My journey through the Nexus. So. But yeah, thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Again, if you like the show and you want to support us, go to patreon.com/trollsgg. Drop a couple bucks there. Subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to find your podcasts online. And you can visit our website at trolls.gg/TheNexusTrolls to watch this show, other past shows, other video streams, Bush League, Trolling HGC. There's also a bunch of articles there that Trolls GG has a great staff of writers. They're doing mid-season brawl recaps, predictions, a bunch of good stuff there. Check it out there. And also we can be found on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/trollsgg. For announcements about the show and general Heroes of the Storm news, follow us on Twitter at TheNexusTrolls. Follow us on Twitter. And if you want to hang out with us and the Trolls community in game, /join TrollsGG in game, or join our Discord channel, trolls.gg/Discord. And finally, if you want to get in touch with us, the best way you can do so is by email at TheNexusTrolls@trolls.gg. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. Soken, Aurumis, appreciate you guys as always. As always. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the Nexus. Take it easy.